Why has this government just capped ground rents at a maximum of £250 a year? I'm Steve Reed. I'm the Secretary of State for Housing. Let me explain. It's so exciting for people when you finally get the key to your own front door for the very first time. But that dream can quickly become a nightmare if you get overwhelmed with service charges that don't seem fair, ground rents that you're getting nothing for. So we're changing the system to protect leaseholders from unfair charges and putting them in charge of their own homes for the first time. There are 5 million leaseholders in the UK, and they have no control over how much ground rent they're going to have to pay. And you don't actually get a service for paying ground rent anyway. You don't get maintenance or cleaning done in your block. It's just money you have to give away to somebody who owns the land that your home is built on. Other countries don't have this. It's a hangover from the Middle Ages, really. It's a feudal system. And people, quite rightly, don't understand why they have to give money to somebody when they're getting no service back in return. We've seen the amounts go up astronomically in some cases, pushing people over the top and into debt. And quite astonishing this, but if you get in debt with your ground rent, even as little as a few £100s, you can have your home taken away from you under a system called forfeiture. Again, it's a medieval system, but you could be paying your mortgage perfectly fine, but a few £100s in debt on ground rent to the freeholder, and your home is taken away. And that just seems completely unfair. Last year alone, leaseholders paid around £600 million in ground rent. So that is an awful lot of money. We know the situation with ground rents is completely unacceptable, and that's why we're calling time on ground rents. The average person pays over £300 in ground rents. We are capping ground rents at £250 a year. So as soon as this new law comes into force, and it will be within this Parliament, nearly 1 million people will see their ground rent payments cut. And over coming years, 5 million leaseholders will benefit. After 40 years, we're going to scrap ground rents entirely and it will go to zero. They call it peppercorn ground rents, but in effect, that means you're paying nothing at all. Why are we capping it at £250? Because there's a lot of pension funds that invest money in this sector. And if we were to reduce it to zero straight away, then there's a risk we would do harm to people's pensions. And we've got to find the right balance. So £250 is a figure where it benefits leaseholders. 1 million of them are going to see a cut straight away. There's certainty because people will know they will never have to pay more than £250 a year, but we're also making sure that we're not damaging people's pension pots. And I know if you're a leaseholder, ground rents aren't the only problem you're facing. I know as a constituency MP, a lot of leaseholders are facing real problems with service charges that seem excessive, unfair, they haven't been properly tendered, there's no transparency over why you're having to pay certain amounts of money. So we're changing the law to bring in that transparency so you know exactly what you're being asked to pay for and why, and you've got more control over what those payments might be paying for in the block where you live. Why are we doing this? It's because we know that the cost of living is the biggest problem facing people up and down the country right now. And ground rents that can just escalate higher and higher are not something that we can tolerate anymore. So we're putting in a cap so that everybody has certainty about the maximum they would ever have to pay. But for 1 million people, that's an immediate cut. Our changes to ground rent are just one part of the reforms we're bringing in to protect leaseholders. A cap on ground rents, but also more control over service charges, including transparency so you know exactly what you're paying for, and more control so you don't have to pay unfair service charges. We're bringing fleecehold to an end. We're putting leaseholders in control of the homes where they live. As a constituency MP, I've had people coming to me who are living in a block of flats where the managing agents are charging them money, but they're not providing the services. So the lighting won't be working, the doors get stuck or are left open all the time, they're not fixing windows when they're damp, and yet leaseholders are still having to pay their charges. It's absolutely not fair that that should continue, so it's this government that's taking action to stop it.